Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get into Trump's declaration of economic independence tariffs, which will have a significant impact on Amazon sellers who import products from China. With a dramatic increase in tariffs, as well as critical changes to import exemptions, I'll explain exactly what's happening, how it affects your Amazon business, and strategies sellers may adopt to stay ahead. But first, let's quickly break down the layers of tariffs now that are being applied to Chinese imports. First are the existing tariffs. The Section 301 tariffs implemented during the Trump administration, the first one that is, imposed an average of 25% duty on Chinese imports. On February 2025, an additional 10% tariff was introduced on all Chinese imports. This action was part of an executive order aimed at addressing the opioid crisis by targeting China's role in supplying precursor chemicals. Then, on March 3, 2025, an additional 10% tariff was added onto that original 10%, totaling at 20%. Now, on April 2025, Trump came up with a reciprocal tariff. This happened on April 2nd. Trump announced that a new reciprocal tariff imposing an additional 34% of duty on Chinese goods. This measure aims to match the tariffs that China imposes on U.S. products. That's 25% from the Section 301 tariffs from Trump's first administration. Then we have another 20% that was enacted for the opioid crisis executive order, and now we have another 34% that's going to be in effect on April 9th, I believe, for the reciprocal tariffs. Needless to say, these tariffs significantly raise sourcing costs, potentially making many products less competitive and maybe not even viable on Amazon. Given these new challenges, here are several strategies that I foresee proactive Amazon sellers might consider doing. And the first one is the risky and illegal act of undervaluing customs declarations. And this is already a common practice for many foreign sellers. I've gone over this practice in detail in my other videos, but I want to re-emphasize that many sellers are going to attempt to undervalue or further undervalue their imports to minimize these new tariffs. I want to clarify that this is not an approach I'm recommending, as this method carries significant legal risk, including hefty fines and even seizure of goods. However, it is important to understand that you may see your competitors doing this, and it's crucial to recognize the substantial legal risks involved and also how this may affect their prices, as in it's not going to go up by much. Next, we may see some sellers attempting to import sub-assemblies for final assembly in the USA. Rather than importing fully finished products, some sellers might start importing sub-assemblies or components. These sub-assemblies have lower declared import values because they're not finished goods, resulting in reduced tariffs. Although final assembly in the US may increase your labor and shipping costs, which may cancel out any savings on import taxes. However, the benefit of labeling your products as assembled in the USA could make this worthwhile. And finally, for large-scale sellers, probably in the high nine-figure revenue, may consider local manufacturing. And these larger Amazon sellers, especially those doing upwards of 9 figures in revenue, might consider shifting manufacturing back to the US. Advancements in automation and economies of scale make local manufacturing increasingly viable, potentially offsetting higher domestic costs and enhancing your market position with the Made in USA label. Now, to some good news. Another critical development that is worth understanding is the elimination of the Minimis Exemption for imports from China and Hong Kong. This has a positive impact for domestic and FBA Amazon sellers because previously, shipments under $800 could enter the US duty-free, which benefited overseas e-commerce platforms like Temu, Shein, and AliExpress, where sellers ship their orders with subsidized shipping duty-free. This change levels the playing field for US sellers with domestic inventory, making domestic sellers significantly more competitive against overseas dropshippers and direct-to-consumer platforms from abroad. While the evolving tariff situation presents challenges, it also opens opportunities for proactive sellers to pivot, adapt, and potentially improve their competitive edge on Amazon. Let me know in the comments how these changes are affecting your business and what strategies you're considering. If you found these videos helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Amazon seller insights. See you next time.